Hi there, 5th graders. Welcome to the Skills Station. This is a guided reading station, but I can't be with you today as I'm working with another group getting ready to begin our big writing project. So today what we're going to be doing instead is I'm going to walk through with you how to do this worksheet, okay? Each of you will be doing it by yourselves, okay? You can use the video as help as you go along. This worksheet is what you should have on your desk right now, okay, is you should be working with something that looks like this. I'll give you a minute to please grab it as needed. Okay. Each of you also has a copy that looks like this. It's got some of my notes on it. This is to help you know what goes in each box, okay? So by yourself, sitting with me, well, you're with me, so you're not by yourself, but you're working by yourself because everybody else is listening to me. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is I need you to read this standard with me. Okay, so go on ahead and look at it. It says, describe how a narrator or speaker's point of view influences how events are described. We've talked before about what a narrator is, so right now what I would like you to do is I would like you to circle the word narrator. Oh, where are you at? Narrator. Okay, I want you to circle it, and I want you to write what you think it is. Okay, if you need more time, feel free to pause me. Otherwise, we're going to keep going, okay? A narrator is wonderful, okay? It is someone who tells a story. If you don't have that down, you need to change it. A narrator is someone who tells a story. Good. So describing how a narrator's or speaker's point of view influences how events are described. Okay, so for this one, we're really thinking about how a narrator's point of view changes how events are described. Okay, a point of view, when we first think point of view, a lot of you think opinion, you think perspective, that a teacher's point of view about homework is different than a student's point of view about homework. For example, my point of view of homework is that it's a good thing that helps you practice. Your point of view about homework may be that it's a waste of time and you think it's a negative thing, you don't like to do it. Okay? People have different points of views, different perspectives, different opinions. You need to know all three of those words. You need to know point of view, you need to know perspective, and you need to know opinion, okay? A narrator has a point of view. Okay, a narrator has an opinion. If we think about Bud and Bud Not Buddy, he didn't like the Amoses. That was his point of view. That was his perspective. The woman in the orphanage, her point of view, her perspective was that Bud was going to a good home. Bud's point of view was that it was not a good home. Because Bud is the narrator and because he's the one telling us the story, we see Bud's point of view. Because he's the one that's telling us his opinion, his thoughts, his feelings. Do we know the opinions, thoughts, and feelings of other people in the story? Maybe a little bit, okay, but do we know them as well as we know Bud? Absolutely not, right? We know everything about Bud because he talks in first person. If you remember back to that vocabulary station that you did with the rap song, and you guys had to take the quiz, and you had to take it over and over and over again, okay? There are 4 types of point of view. First person, second person, third person, and third person limited, and third person omniscient. Okay? First person is when someone is saying, I did this. I went to town, I bought groceries. Second person, you went to town, you bought groceries. Okay? Third point of view, okay, third person is they went to town, they bought groceries. She went to town, she bought groceries. He went to town, he bought groceries. Okay, there's limited and omniscient. Okay, omniscient is a narrator that knows everything. Okay, omniscient knows all. Omniscient knows all. Feel free to do the motions. Okay, omniscient knows all. So, an example of an omniscient third-person narrator would be something along the lines of, I know that Mrs. Yates, Mrs. Yates, Mrs. I don't know how to say this. Let's do an example. Sorry, thinking of an example right now. Mrs. Yates loves breakfast. It's her favorite meal of the day, and she had breakfast this morning. Mrs. Rings does not like breakfast, and she wishes that she could have steak instead for breakfast every day. Okay, that's knowing the thoughts of two people. Okay, a limited narrator would only know the thoughts of one of those characters. Like, for example, if a narrator is telling a story and they would say, Mrs. Rings does not like breakfast, she wishes she would have steak every day, but Mrs. Yates is eating breakfast really fast. Okay, we can infer that Mrs. Yates probably really likes breakfast because she's eating it quickly, but we don't know because we only know the thoughts and feelings of one character. Okay, omniscient third person knows all. Limited third person only knows the thoughts of one person. Okay, they're limited in their vision. Omniscient third person knows all. Limited third person only knows one character's thoughts and feelings. So we've talked about two different types of point of view. Point of view as opinion and perspective, and point of view as first, second, and third. Okay, that's two different types of point of view. Okay, so we have point of view as opinion or perspective, and point of view as first, second, and third. Point of view as opinion or perspective, and point of view as first, second, or third person. Okay. This paper talks about point of view as opinion and perspective, so do not, let me say it again, do not write first, second, or third person on this paper. Okay, that is not what this paper is talking about. This paper is talking about Bud's opinion and perspective. Okay, he is a narrator. He has an opinion, and it changes the way that the reader sees and reads things. Okay, where it says point of view, go on ahead and circle that and write perspective or opinion. I don't care about your spelling. Okay, you just need to know what the word is. That point of view is perspective or opinion. Great. Okay, let's read the rest of the worksheet together. Let's think about chapter 3. And I've got it, oops, you can't really see me anymore, can you? Okay, let's think about chapter 3. Okay, I've blocked it off because I like to remember I'm focusing on chapter 3 in my book, which means I might want to have chapter 3 open. Thank you. Okay, in this chapter, Bud was locked in the shed outside the Amos's house. Think about how terrified he was and how scary that shed was. Fill out the charts below to show how the narrator's point of view influenced how the reader saw the shed. Okay, that means that we are going to start looking and thinking about how Bud's perspective, Bud's point of view, changed the way we saw the shed. Okay, this chart goes across like this. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the first example. Okay, and I'm going to walk you through the first example back here. But for the most part, you're going to be doing this independently. I recommend that you still listen to the rest of my video, just so you know what you're doing. I don't want anybody to turn this in and be like way off the wrong track just because you didn't follow the same directions, okay? What Bud thought about the shed, what it really was, and what this shows the reader about the narrator. Okay? Let's look at this first quote together. Halfway up the door were 3 little monster heads guarding the doorknob. Okay? What it really was. Okay, what really were the little fish heads? Or sorry, what really were the little monsters that were guarding the door? I've already given you the answer, but go ahead and you write it right here. Okay, it doesn't have to be a complete sentence. Okay, and then what this shows the reader about the narrators, and underneath it I've written character traits or past experiences. Okay, so he thought he saw little monsters. We know what they really were. And what does it tell us about Bud that he thought he saw monsters, but then they really weren't? Okay, what does that teach us about him or show us about him as a person? Okay, you're going to write that in this box. It does not have to be a complete sentence, but it needs to make sense. Pause me if you're not ready to go on. Up at the top of the shed was the biggest vampire bat you'd ever see. Okay. What it really was. What was the vampire bat? What was it really? Write the answer right there. I give you the page numbers, so if you need to go back. Okay, pause me if you're not done. What this shows the reader about the narrator. Okay, he thought it was a vampire bat, but it was really something else. So what does that show us about the reader? Thank you, Jacob. Okay, what does that show us about the narrator. Okay, if he thought it was this, but it was really something, it was really this, what does that show us? Don't have the same answer as up here. Okay, it should be a different answer. Think about why he thought it was a vampire bat. Why did he think it was a vampire bat? And what does that show us about who he is? Okay. This one is a little different. As you can see, the directions are different up here, okay? It says what Bud thought about the shed, why he thought that, and what this shows the reader about the narrator. Okay, first quote. I picked up my blanket and pillow and had to decide what was the best way to sleep. I knew the floor was no good. I'd bet all sorts of bugs and roaches were crawling around. I've underlined bugs and roaches crawling around, okay? Why did he think about bugs and roaches being on the ground? It was not because the shed was dirty. Why was he like, there's no way I'm laying on the floor with bugs? Gross. Why did he think that? Okay, underneath I've written, what did Bud experience that made him think? Okay, there's a hint. What did he experience that made him think, I'm not laying on the floor with those bugs? And finally, once again, what does this show us about the narrator? It should not be the same as what you've written over here. Give me something new. Pause me if you're not ready to go on. I took my jackknife out of my pocket and pulled the blade open. That way, if I didn't kill him with the rake, maybe a silver blade in his heart would be just as good as a silver bullet. Why was he thinking that? Why was he thinking, I need to have my jackknife open? It's better, it needs to be as good as a silver bullet. What did he know or what did he experience that told him that he needed to be ready with that knife or those silver bullets or whatever he thought would kill this vampire bat? Okay, what did he experience or what did he know that made him say this? Pause me if you're not ready to go on. Okay. And finally, what does that show us about the narrator once again? Okay, different, something different. Okay, we have our whole word of character traits up there. Okay, you can think of things. It can be phrases. It doesn't have to be one word. Okay, it shows us that maybe he's done this, or it can show me that he's this kind of person. Okay, but this worksheet goes with this standard, okay, that we really are looking and identifying who our narrator is. Because who tells the story is going to change the way the story is told. Okay, if your friend is doing your homework for you, you're going to be, oh yeah, my friend does my homework for me. Yeah, I'm excited. That's awesome. I never have to do homework. My friend does it for me. Teacher's going to find out. Okay, and the teacher's going to say, I'm really upset that someone is doing your homework for you. Okay, same event. Someone's doing your homework for you, but two different ways to tell the story. Happy, because you're the one telling the story, and really, really mad because now the teacher is telling the story and they're furious that someone has done your homework for you. Okay, who's telling the story matters, and it's important that you can tell me who's telling the story and how their point of view, which means their perspective, their opinion, is changing the way the story is told. This video is over, but you need to go through this and make sure that you got this 100%.